guys, how's it going today? We're just upstairs today in the mantis room and the isopods and stuff up here. Today we're going to show you the tiger salamander. This is pretty much the last thing we have to show you before I'll get into like filtration or anything else you guys want to know. You can just comment down below and I'll address that in a future video. I will do a short video on isopods eventually and springtails, but that's to come in the future. So yeah, we'll show you our tiger salamander here today. So this is just a 20-gallon tall aquarium, and we just don't have a lid or anything for it. I have the cork bark turned up right now because I actually had to find them for this video. We give him a good liberal layer of substrate. He's got a good, 4 fingers to burrow. He's always under the ground. That's where they are in the wild too, right? Like these are native to where we're from in Alberta here. This one was actually brought into my work, and it had frostbite all over its tail, and she thought it was dead. And then once it thawed out, it came back too. So I've had him. He's about doubled in size. I've had him for about a year now, a little under a year actually. But he's about doubled in size, and I'll do some close-ups of the aquarium and get a close-up of him. I'm just gonna quickly put some dechlorinated water on him to clean him off so he looks pretty, and we'll get to the video. So before you ever touch your tiger salamander, you're gonna want to always wet your hands. You don't want to get our natural salt and stuff on them, so just make sure you have a good little layer of water on your hands. And I always do it over his tank anyway, because they require a good amount of humidity, so he's a little spunky right now because it is his time to eat, but this is our little tiger salamander. Haven't named him or anything yet, but we love him, that's for sure. I'm pretty sure it's a male. Not really, not too sure, but with my guess it's a male. And as you see, sometimes they just want to go. We don't take him out too much. He does good in his habitat inside his enclosure. He loves how much dirt and stuff he has in there. But yeah, I'd say he's a good 7 inches now. We got him when he was 4-inch, so he was a really small one. These guys start in an aquatic state, so they have like big frills that come off of their neck, and those are actually their gills that they breathe with underwater. But yeah, so he came out of the water at a pretty young age, I'd say, because he was pretty small. But as you can see, like I said, a good 6.5, 7-inch. He doesn't really bite once you get him up. When he's in his enclosure, he'll take a couple little nips at you here and there. He's a little spitfire, but they're just absolutely adorable. So they're considered an amphibian, more closely related to frogs, I guess you could say, but a little bit of a leather, almost like a thin leather, or a frog. If you felt a frog, they feel like that. But yeah, they're just gorgeous coloring on these guys. His primary diet is crickets and superworms. I'll do a little feeding once I put him back. Me holding him here is not going to bother him at all. He is getting antsy though because my hands are warm, so I will put him back here. So for the most part, his favorite place to be is kind of in his water dish. As you can see by the little white kind of specks there, those are all springtails. I put live culture of springtails in there, but he loves being in his water dish, so we'll do a little feeding video for you guys here. He's right in the front there. I know his cage isn't the cleanest, but they're not the cleanest of creatures. I have dairy cow isopods in there, as well as the giant orange. So I do have isopods in there cleaning up all of his waste and everything like that. And the springtails also keep the bacteria and everything down as well. He just likes to hang out in his water dish. But yeah, so on today's food, we're just going to do some super worms here. I always use the feeding tongs, not because I'm afraid to feed him, but sometimes he's not the easiest to get off of your finger. So there's that. Just get a little better view of it here. Okay. So as you can see, the superworms are quite large as well, compared to like the butt end of my feeding tongs. Where am I here? There we go. They're quite large, so he's got a good meal. And I always grab him and kind of squish the head before I feed it to him, because superworms can bite, and they're a pretty soft-skinned creature. So if you just get a nice little squeeze on the head there, they'll be good to go. But you can see he already knows the food's in there. Sorry, he kind of went out of frame there. I'll zoom out a little bit more. I didn't think he was going to come out of the water that much. Sorry, guys. He'll down a couple of these, though, so... And the scuffs on the glass, it's just old silicone. I had old dividers in here way back in the day. They used to breed mice and stuff, so that was just an old divider that I couldn't scrape off. I'm sure if I got a new razor blade I could, but I haven't been too worried about it. So now you see he's kind of just chilled out in the water there. He's done chewing. He'll jump right out and smash it. And almost every time he'll go back into his water dish. It's not a super deep water dish. As he gets older and bigger, we'll be getting him a deeper one. It looks dirty, but that's just because he stirred it up. I put some moss and stuff in there just so the springtails can live a little better. He shakes them up every day, and when he gets out, you know, they'll spill off into the wood and into the dirt and stuff like that. But there's tons of springtails living through there, and they're not harmful to him in any way. If anything, they're just beneficial. So, but yeah, so he'll stay on the bottom there that whole time while he eats. He's already actually done. So if I can show you, he'll actually take food from in the water as well. It's pretty cool. Look at that. Their vision is perfect even underwater, so... And typically we only give them superworms maybe once a week. They're a lot higher in protein and fat, so I don't want a super obese tiger salamander. As you can see, he's not thin, but he's not super chunky. So most of the time we just dump crickets in with some calcium powdered on him, and he'll chase those around at night when we're asleep or whatever, but at least it gets him out of the ground and moving. If I went to his little dig hole that he had every night and just fed him superworms, we'd see him in a year and he'd be a chunky monkey. So typically we try and make him chase around crickets, and then once a week or so we'll pull him out of the ground, make sure he looks good, look at his skin and stuff, and then we'll give him some superworm treats like this, make sure he gets in his water. But typically if you pull him out anyway, he'll go to his water, and that's not because I don't keep the soil moist, because I dump, like, I don't even mist anymore. I just dump like a liter of water, spread around the tank, and spread on his cork bark at least once a week, just to keep the ground moist, mainly for him, but also the isopods and the springtails require a high humidity. And I mean, even though he is in his land state from the aquatic state, they do like it super moist. So that's why the cork bark is nice. It holds humidity really nice. And then I have a mixture of eco earth, sphagnum moss, and forest floor moss on the ground there, and it makes it really easy for him to dig around. The moss and everything, it'd be like putting peat moss in. It just loosens the soil up and helps the isopods and springtails move throughout the soil so they can find where he goes to the bathroom to eat food, right? They're just a super awesome cleanup crew. And once a week I'll take sorry about that, the mantis just decided to try and fly beside me here. I'll show you. Decided flying was a good idea, but forgot he was in a cage, so that didn't go very well. They're getting big though. They're at about 18 days, so they should be molting any day here. So that's super cool. We got all these big plants and stuff all up top. We got plants everywhere. But yeah, it's a simple cage, I know, and you guys might be saying it's super boring, but I could put plants in and around here, just to kind of grow plants, but when the roots grow down, it's going to tighten all the soil up. It's going to make it harder for him to dig, harder for the isopods to move around. So ultimately, the more simple your tank is, the easier cleanup and everything will be for you. We've had him for, like I said, almost a year, and I've never once cleaned this soil, and it does not stink at all. Like I said, the springtails and the isopods are just super cleaners. Absolutely awesome. Sorry about the glare here. We don't have blinds on these windows because we like giving everything in here the natural sunlight, right? But we'll go up and over top. But yeah, when he grows a little bit, because these guys can get upwards of 13 inches. So when he grows a little bit, he'll definitely be getting an upgraded water dish. He can probably live in this his entire life, to be honest. They're not super mobile, but eventually I'm going to put like a splitter here and just make that whole side water. I'm just going to silicone glass into the ground, put him in a little holding tank for a couple days so the silicone doesn't bother his skin, because they do breathe through their skin a little bit. He is an amphibian, so yeah, we dump out his water, you know, probably once a week into his enclosure. And then we'll give him all fresh water and everything like that. So his water's always clean. It's not like he's sitting in a bunch of ammonia or anything. But yeah, I wish we named him, you know, now that I'm making a video for you guys. He's so cute. We love him. I can't wait till he gets massive. But typically we only give him the 3 super worms. But yeah, I hope you guys liked it. So right there, you can kind of see all the springtails on them if my camera would like to focus. And they're constantly just cleaning everything up. Thanks so much for everyone who watched today's video, and all of my videos for that matter. I appreciate all the love and everything out there. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions and I forget to put anything in there, don't hesitate to write anything in the comments and just ask me. I'll be happy to answer.